We don't want that. Pitch, pace, volume. Same thing with the volume. So there's stuff that we need to project in the back of the room, and sometimes I want to speak at a louder level, but then if you really want to get the audience's attention, you're going to lower your voice. I'm going to lower my pitch, I'm going to lower my volume. I still need to project at the back of the room, but it's all relative. And the pause. We've all heard about the power of the pause. When you want to get the audience's attention, use those pauses, use them effectively. When you want to make a point, when you say something that's really impactful and you want to make sure that they get it, give a good, solid pause after that. Because you want them to process it. Because what happens if when we keep on just words, the audience doesn't have a chance for their brain to process and digest what you're telling them. You need to give them a break and let them process what you're saying. This is another one. Let me talk about this first before I flip that over. Chunk and pause. Has anybody ever heard that expression? Have you ever heard about chunking your presentation? Where you take your content and you chunk it, break it into chunks that are kind of manageable chunks, and you'll deliver a chunk, deliver a chunk, deliver a chunk. And that's a great way to do your presentation, do your speeches, because then it's easier for you to remember, because you can remember the content of a chunk easier than the whole thing. So remember a chunk, you break it down into chunks. This is a little bit different even. It's going on down into the sentences, doing chunking and pausing. We're going to chunk our sentences and insert little micro pauses. So let me show you how that might work. So here's a paragraph, and I'm going to read it to you how somebody might read it this way. Public speaking is not about delivering perfect sentences. It's about creating moments of meaning. When we slow down even just a little, we give our audience a chance to breathe with us. We give our ideas room to land, and we remind ourselves that confidence isn't built on speed, it's built on presence. So the next time you speak, try offering your words in smaller chunks with short, intentional pauses, and watch how your message becomes clearer, stronger, and more compelling. Somebody could deliver it like that. It's not terrible. Could it be better? It absolutely can. So what if we did this? We diagram this a little bit and insert some intentional little micro pauses. So public speaking is not about delivering perfect sentences. I'm going to put 2 hash marks there. I want a little bit longer pause there, because that's the end of a sentence. It's about creating moments of meaning. 2 there. When we slow down, even just a little, we give our audience the chance to breathe with us. We give our ideas room to land, and we remind ourselves that confidence isn't built on speed, it's built on presence. So the next time you speak, try offering your words in smaller chunks. Let's do that. With intentional pauses. And watch how your message becomes clearer, stronger, and more compelling. So let's go over that again. Public speaking is not about delivering perfect sentences. It's about creating moments of meaning. When we slow down, even just a little, we give our audience the chance to breathe with us. We give our ideas room to land, and we remind ourselves, and one right there too, and we remind ourselves that confidence isn't built on speed. It's built on presence. So the next time you speak, try offering your words in smaller chunks with short, intentional pauses. And watch how your message becomes clearer, stronger, and more compelling. Is that better? And so obviously, when you're giving a speech, you're not going to write out the whole thing in diagram there. You could, you actually could. For those of you that write out your whole speech, I don't write out a whole speech because I can't memorize that well. But for those that do, you can actually do that, diagram that out, and put those pauses in there. But can you, in your mind, as you're speaking, can you visualize inserting those hash marks in there? Absolutely you can. And as you're rehearsing your speech and preparing for the next time you're up, visualize those in your speech. And it can be more impactful. And one thing that also helps it do is it helps your audience, takes some pressure off of them. They can actually process what you're saying. It allows you to breathe. I don't know about y'all. Has anybody ever had the same issue where you're giving a speech? Because I did this years ago and I got over it, thankfully, where I wanted to talk so much and so fast. I didn't want to have any silence. You know, I was afraid of pauses and silence. I had to fill everything with noise. And when I would do that, I forgot to breathe. I would find myself going through a speech and I'm running out of breath and I'm not sure what to do about it. I didn't even think to stop and breathe. But this gives you opportunities to breathe along the way. It's going to help you be more effective and more impactful in your speaking. One bonus thought I wanted to share with you also is about breathing. Most of us tend to breathe in a less efficient way when we speak. When you take a deep breath and when you inhale, does your chest come up? Does your chest come up? Or does your stomach go out? Most of us tend to breathe naturally from our chest. Our chest goes up. What happens is we're only using the upper half of our lungs. We're a shallower breath. When you can breathe diaphragmatically from your stomach, I'm filling up my whole lung then. Then I'm filling it up, and as I'm speaking, as I'm exhaling, and words are coming out, I'm pushing the air out with my stomach, and it's not just going out from here. It's a much more efficient way to breathe. And you can project to the back of the room. It doesn't sound like you're shouting. And when you have more air coming out, you're saving your voice as you go, because you're giving it more air to go over. So that's a great way to remember to breathe. And I do it all the time. I started this years ago, where I became aware of that, and now that's the way I breathe, and I find it very helpful. And one more breathing tip: if you have nerves, anxiety, I know none of y'all in this room ever have any anxiety about giving a speech. What if you could calm your breathing down a little bit, slow your heart rate down a little bit, because that's what happens. Our breathing speeds up, our heart rate speeds up, we start to get that other kind of sweaty feeling. If you could calm down your breathing a little bit, calm down your heart rate. Have you ever heard of box breathing? Box breathing is very helpful for that. And if you don't know what box breathing is, it's a very simple exercise you can do in less than 3 minutes. Picture a box. Has 4 sides, of course, and on one side of the box is going to be our inhale. Top of the box is going to be where we hold it. Bottom of the box is the other side of the box is where we exhale. Bottom is where we hold it again. So I'm going to inhale for a count of 4. Hold it for 4. I'm going to exhale for 4, and I'm going to hold it for 4. I do that 3 times. So that's 16 times 3 is 42 seconds, 48 seconds. Oklahoma math, I don't know. But you do that 3 times, and I can promise you, your heart rate will go down. I do this sometimes because I'm kind of a geek about some things. I'll do this sitting at home, sitting in my chair at home, and I'll do the little heart rate thing on your watch, and I'll watch my heart rate go down a couple of beats per minute, just by doing that. It will help you calm your anxiety, calm your nerves. I hope this has been helpful for you. Again, it's not about changing everything overnight, making you 100% better, because none of us are going to be that. But can you tweak your speech and just get 1% better the next time you're up? Just continue to improve, that's all we're looking for. And I appreciate the opportunity to share this information with you today. Mr. Toastmaster.